So, good evening, everyone. Uh, this is Rishabh Joshi, and with me, I am having Prasanna Riverika, as well as we are the mentors of Technical Club. So, this meet is actually conducted to call out your questions on technical basis, whether that question would be on open source or anything like that. And we have collected those questions in a Google form from you guys. So we would be discussing those questions again, but we have find out some of the common topics between those questions and have cultivated them in a PDF form, like as presentation format. Would be just hovering through that questions and answering all those in this PDF format, and then would be moving towards your questions on Google Form. So yeah. So moving on to the presentation, Prasanna, would you like to tell us about the terms before we get started?
Yeah, sure. All right, so hi everyone, I am Prasanna, the second technical mentor, and okay, let's just get down to business. So yeah, even though this slide says getting successful as a CS student, it is more of a rough guidelines that even people from EC can apply in their journey. And yeah, okay, so yeah, let's move on. Okay, so some terms before we get started. So service-based companies, example TCS, Wipro. So these are the companies that like generally offer you a package of up to 15 LPA, and these companies come to our college for on-campus placements as well. Then there are product-based companies, example Amazon, DirectAI, which offer upwards of 30 LPA. These companies do not visit the campuses more often. So yeah, like our goal is somewhat to land an offer with these companies. And then there are startups which offer anywhere between what the service-based companies offer and the product-based companies offer. So yeah, the next slide. Okay, so like I have prepared a recipe for success. So it has 4 aspects to it. There is a DSA, which stands for data structures and algorithms. Then there are projects, work experience, and personal branding and networking. I'll be elaborating on each of these topics as we move on. Yeah, next slide. Okay, so DSA, yes, DSA is the de facto standard in most interviews. Like it is used to test your problem solving skills. Most of the companies have at least one coding round to shortlist the candidates, and so it is mostly comprised of DSA. And this is like not strictly limited to firms that are hiring for SD roles. Like even in machine learning roles, there are some companies that conduct coding rounds. So yeah. The next question is, what is competitive programming and how is it different from DSA, or what you would call interview preparation? So competitive programming is more of a sport, and it focuses more on solving questions faster than someone else. And so what could happen is that you might get away with using the using suboptimal solutions. Like if someone comes up with a solution that has a complexity of n log n in 1 minute, and there is some guy who took like 10 minutes for coming up with a solution that takes O of n. So yeah, the first person is better off in that competition, because like it's all about solving questions the fastest and within some time constraint, with some time and memory constraint. So yeah, that is competitive programming. And then we have interview preparation. The interview preparation is about getting the most efficient solutions. Like the recruiters would be happy if you can find the most efficient solution. There are time constraints here as well, but they are not as strict as it would be for competitive programming. Okay, the next question is, coding rounds, are they necessary evil? So like I said, there are some fields of computer science which use a very different tech stack. Like they do not use C, C++, Python, whatever. Like they're more concerned with using frameworks. And so people ask, is it fair to still have coding rounds to select candidates? So yeah, okay, like this is a very difficult topic to talk about. Actually, it's criticized a lot, but then again, like considering there are so many candidates applying to positions, like this acts as a sieve so that they can filter as many candidates as possible. So yeah, so coding rounds are a necessary evil in a way. Then there's a question: what is a good standard for competitive programming? So I'd say again, this is debatable, but yeah, I spoke with Prabal Bhaiya, and he says that someone who is planning to do competitive programming, like just competitive programming for like the entirety of your college, an expert on code forces and above is a good standard for someone. Uh, then there's a question that what is a good standard for someone who is interested in doing just interview preparation? Like interview preparation is something you do just a few months before you actually start interviewing at most ones. So like for them, they shouldn't exactly be solving at these in these platforms like CodeChef, etc. There is a very good problem set called as the CSES problem set, and then there's yeah. Thanks Joshi for sharing the link. And then there's Geeks for Geeks, which has archives of problems that have been asked in most of these firms like Goldman Sachs, etc. Like if you go through both of these, you are good to go like for the interview. And again, like when you're targeting like the best firms out there, like product-based companies, so you have to be a bit more thorough with this part, the DSA part.
Yeah.
Okay, so
To summarize in a short, it's not compulsory for everyone to go for cooperative programming. Keep that in mind. It's necessary for you to take part in interview, so that for you to take part in interview, you have to have DSA. But comparative programming is not necessary. So keep that in mind before preparing anything. You tend to miss out comparative programming as well as DSA, but DSA is necessary. So keep that in mind. So as Prasanna said, and someone asked us like, what would be the syllabus of computer or what would be the syllabus of DSA? So first of all, for DSA, I would recommend Geeks for Geeks is a very good resource. There, like you would say, see their recruiter guide that has every questions with topics. Okay, and for comparative programming, we have provided this CSES book like in the link below. So you can refer to that book. Someone was saying that I have done greedy and some questions of numerics and some string-based questions. So what should I do next? Now that book consists of everything from dynamic programming to graphs to like trees. So if you want to dive deep into that, you can always refer to CSES book, which is a good source. Yes, Prasanna.
all right, so the next topic is projects. So what exactly are projects? Okay, so personal projects are used to demonstrate your expertise with a certain tech stack, and it is also a way for your recruiter to gauge your skills. So, okay, so people say that I have like four certificates on four certifications from Coursera on deep learning or something, but if you have a project on deep learning, like it says more about your abilities than some certificate. Now, that is because most of the certificates that you can get, they aren't very competitive. So like every single person who registers for the course is about to get that certificate. So, and our aim is to like stand out of the crowd and not blend in. So looking at a project, the recruiter could tell how well you understand things. So yeah, that covers
Yeah, Prasanna,
projects versus certifications.
one more point I would like to point out. One person asked, so what is lead code for? And like the basic difference between lead code problems and what you get in comparative programming is that comparative programming problems are new, So each and every problem that they design, I'm specifically talking here about code forces, not nothing else. So each and every problem that code forces people design, they are just unique. Okay, like concept would be same or some other problem, but the essence of that problem is unique. And every problem they try to like dive into some new topic. Okay, so I would say that competitive programming is more like you have not seen that problem or that statement, and then you are approaching to that problem with a new mind. What DSA is, most of the problems that interviewer asks are already asked in some of the interviews, like Amazon interview, directory interview, or some other Facebook or FB, basically, yeah, Flipkart interview. So some of the other interviews they would be asked those questions. So these DSA questions tend to repeat themselves, and in competitive programming, there are new questions altogether. If I don't have a certificate, okay, this is for you, I can say. Prasanna.
Um, so, Bhaiya, if I don't have a certificate, but I have a project on it, so my skills are endorsed right for the interviews. Yeah, correct. So then the third question is it worth paying for certificates? Okay, so how do you tell if a certificate is worth it or not? If there is a certain level of competition that you have to like beat in order to get that certification. So, for instance, there is the TensorFlow developer certification. So you have to pay a certain fee, and then they ask you to take an exam, which is like 5 hours long, and only about 40% of the people who take the exam actually clear it the first time, and so on. So like there, uh, like that certificate would be worth it because again, it says that you have, you have ranked at a certain position, you have beaten some people, and you have this certain expertise. But then let's say we are talking about some Coursera certificate. So there you can like easily find the solutions for those answers online. You don't even have to like score well on the assignments, and you can just like whoever registers for the certificate is uh, like ought to get it. So yeah, that certificate won't matter. Then what does a good project look like? Yeah, so this is what I call the KKK principle. So it has to be creative, uh, think outside the box. Then it has to be unique. So projects can be creative and not unique. So one example would be a Harry Potter cloak. So I don't know how many of you all have seen this, but it's a project using deep learning. So basically, you stand in front of a webcam and like you basically blend in with your surroundings. It's something like that. So yeah, so it is creative, but then there are hundreds of people who've made it, and you can even find tutorials to make this from scratch. So uh, yeah, it has to be both unique and creative, and then the complexity. So how do you increase the complexity of some project? So the first way would be to make it interdisciplinary. So let's say I'm just making a machine learning model, or I'm just making a website. So when I combine these two fields like web development and machine learning, or let's say I combine app development and machine learning, whenever I'm like making projects that are interdisciplinary, like you can say its complexity increases to a different level. Then there is a wide tech stack, and then there's best code practices. So best code practices, what do I mean by best code practices? So uh, yeah, you all need to look into DevOps for that,
Yeah,
DevOps and ML.
one of the best code practices that I found in like many projects in Hakuna Matata is that um, most of the projects were web-based. Okay, that is true. But the web-based project, some of the projects were cluttered. Like everything from images from JS file to CS file, everything were in the same directory or the same repository, like just vaguely separate. So this is not a code practice, but I would say this is a best practice to like keep segregated your materials. Like this is JS, this is assets, this is JS, this is CS, this is images, and so on. So yeah, that was one of the thing I noticed in happening.
All right, so the next point is intimidation factor. Plus, I'll tell you what works for me. So yes, whenever you are trying to come up with a project idea, like like it's very easy to come up with an idea, but it's difficult to like think how you will be implementing it. Uh, so yes, it's definitely intimidating. There's no doubt. So I'll tell you what works for me. So like whenever, let's say, I come up with an idea, I first try to see if it's feasible or no. Now, like in machine learning, people need to do that too, like check feasibility. I'm not sure if you'll need to do that in web development or any other fields, but okay. So the first step for me is I see if the project is feasible or no. Once I'm done checking the feasibility, I try to look up if there have been people who have made projects that are similar to my idea, and yeah, most probably I will find a few articles. uh, if not at least one article I'll be able to find. So I'll go through that. I'll check what approach the person has used. I'll try to compare it with what I was thinking I'll do. Like let's say I was thinking of implementing it in a certain way. It's possible that the person has a better approach or something. I'll just go through it a couple of times. Then it's very much possible that the person has also attached a GitHub repo to it. So yeah, it helps to go to that repository and just play around with the code and see the choices that people have made. So yeah, that gives you a certain idea of, see, even if like you don't understand what the person has done, there is always something that you can look up when you're stuck. So you can always refer what that person has done whenever you're stuck. So there's that. And yeah, I'll say ki even if you have like just a 20% idea of what you're supposed to do, like I'll say just get started with it and try to learn along the way, rather than like trying to like postpone your project and thinking ki I'll first try to get more proficient with Python or something and then I'll start with the project. No, don't do that. Start your project, and as and when you need something, just look it up, learn how to do that, and then continue with the project. So learning along the way rather than learning everything in advance. Yeah, and then there's obviously there's the documentation for whatever tech stack you're using that you can refer to. Yeah. Then there's the sixth point, collaboration. Yeah, so this is collaboration is very important for multiple reasons. Like first and foremost thing is accountability. So it's very possible to lose motivation along the way, like when you're working solo. And it's not a strange thing to have many abandoned projects. Like most of us have at some point stopped working on a project altogether just because we lost motivation. So whenever y'all are working in a group, there's this accountability, and people like less often abandon their projects. Then there's the scale of the entire project increases. Like let's say, like I said, the earlier example about making interdisciplinary projects. So whenever I'm making a project, I'll obviously just use machine learning because I'm not very good at full stack dev. But whenever I'm collaborating with my friends, they know full stack. So like our project can become a different scale. Like it could be much bigger, and yeah, like the workload is shared among yourselves, and yeah, it's easier to complete projects that way, and it's more fun because then there are more brains at it, and you all can come up with better ideas and brainstorm. So yeah, there's that. Then participation in hackathons. So yeah, I highly recommend participating in hackathons. Someone had asked this, which hackathon should you participate in? Yeah, just participate in any hackathon that's happening. Like there's at least one hackathon happening each weekend. You all can check out devpost.com, and what else? Joshi koi site?
MLH.io.
MLH.io. Please send the links. Uh, so yeah, you all should be participating in hackathons. But again, like just don't keep participating in hackathons, because the thing is hackathons are supposed to be like a 3 day sprint or something. So the quality of the project that you'll be making, like it would be a complete project, but it won't be like as good, because you all are like in a hurry, you all are racing against time. So there will be that the project won't be that good as when you all are like working continuously for like 1 or 2 months. And from a recruiter perspective, it always looks good when you have worked on a project for a couple months, because it shows that there has been this continuous learning process, like compared to uh, you all just working on something for 3 days and then forgetting it altogether. So yeah. Okay, next slide. Okay, one second. Someone has asked this question. Can we make for projects for resume and all in a group? Yeah, group projects. People put group projects all the time. Okay, then work experience. How many internships should you have ideally by the end of fourth year? So 2 internships sounds good. Again, you can have more or less depending on if you are interested in working or if you like working or not. Uh, then there's, should we be taking unpaid internships or no? Okay, so this. So first of all, there are like campus ambassador programs and all. Like there are so many. There are campus chapter and all. So first thing, like stay away from those. Like unless you are like genuinely interested in digital marketing and you're planning to pursue digital marketing, like it won't help you in any way in landing a tech job. That I can assure you. Like being intern, a student partner, or like there are thousands of those. Like those won't help you land a tech job. That I can assure you. Like even though it sounds good, the student ambassador from IIIT Kottayam or whatever, yeah, it will not help you at all, and it's a waste of time. So then there are some internships which say they will not pay you because they are paying you in experience, and because you are unexperienced, you will cost them more money and all. So again, yeah, I find that to be total nonsense. Uh, if you are working with something that is important, uh, like if you are doing actual work, actual important work, then you will get paid for it because they don't want anyone to screw it up. And yeah, mm, okay. Any student ambassador program that is fruitful to us. Okay, yeah, there are some such programs that are really good, like the one that is offered by Microsoft. Then there's one that is offered by Google. So even Google DSC is coming to our college with Joshi as its lead. And yeah,
But
there are some really good ones,
I
but
think,
the
Prasanna, you have made a document on that. I think so. You could share that.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll share it later.
yeah, sure. We will share that. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what else? Yeah, so yeah, so some people say ki, okay, but I'm actually learning something, while working as an unpaid intern or whatever. So yeah, it's very much possible ki like you aren't actually learning anything useful, because again, like if it was really important, like if it was real work, you would have been getting paid for it. uh, okay, like this is my stand. Then there is a question ki when are unpaid internships okay? So first of all, it has to be like really competitive to get in. Like it's not just like you applied and you got it. If it's really competitive, like if it's some let's say there is some early stage startup with reputed founders or something, like from, I don't know, from some good IIT, Stanford, anywhere. So yeah, if you're convinced, or if they're like, there are some startups that so like it's not real money because there is a lot of risk involved with equity, but then yeah, that is okay because you will be actually like doing some real work. And yeah, when you're working with NGOs or non-profits, so yes, that because they're there to like, they can't afford to pay you, but it's real work. So that is the only case when I'll say unpaid internships are okay. Like no other place is it okay to do unpaid internships. And by
Okay.
okay, I don't mean like no,
Just
someone will
sorry.
cancel you. It's just that you won't be learning anything useful, and it won't add to your resume. Like, it won't be adding any value. Okay, then when do you do internships? Okay, so like ideally, not ideally, but it's a trend in the university or in the industry to like people do internships in their third year. Like everybody does one internship in third year, and the it's like the main internship that you do, the third year one. So like if you're planning to land a an internship in some big company, like it helps to have a previous internship. So you all could do some 1 month internship in the winter, or maybe a 3 month internship in summer, whatever. So yeah, and how to land an internship. Okay, so there is AngelList, which is a website that helps you like apply to internships at startups. Like this is solely for startups. And then there's LinkedIn, which has no such distinction. You can apply anywhere through LinkedIn. Then yeah, our placement committee would be sending some. mm,
So there's also intentional
yeah,
and so
some
on.
internships too.
Yeah.
No, no,
But
sorry, go on.
yeah, so there's also intentional and so on. But the thing is, I have like we have not noticed fair job or fair internship through internship. If you see anything like fair enough, because like from my experience, I have also seen some of the companies who just uh, say that they will pay and then they just reject after after a few days of just joining. So this could be the thing. So beware of that. And
It don't work for scraps basically. Like
yeah.
if you're getting paid 2,000 a month or 3,000 a month, it's not worth it. Okay, networking. Yeah, this is important, but again, it's not necessary. Most people get good jobs without doing this, and then there are some people who get jobs just through their network. So okay, like this is a rough guideline on how to network. So maintain an active LinkedIn profile. Please don't use funny usernames. Like this isn't Instagram. The display picture shouldn't be you riding a bike, nor should your bio be haters get lost, I'm going to be success. And you all know what I'm talking about. So this is like a solely professional site, so you have to be like mindful of what you're putting on there. Uh, then include relevant contact information, your resume. Like make sure ki your resume is accessible like through your bio. Like as soon as someone clicks on your profile, your resume should be easily accessible. Like if you're making the recruiter like have trouble finding your resume, he just won't. Uh, then include your GitHub profile. Uh, I'm not sure about this one. And then post about your projects you work on, your achievements. Uh, Again, okay. The next part is maintain a personal blog. Yeah, you can like build a personal portfolio website and just keep adding things about you. And then there's writing on medium.com and any other blogging sites. So like I said earlier, we all need to be working on like you all would be working projects on projects which would be like unique, right? So there won't be a lot of articles that tell you how to make that project. So you can like write an article on it as soon as you are done making a project. So yeah, any other blogging sites, not Geeks for Geeks. So yeah, why I'm saying not Geeks for Geeks is because there are no quality checks on Geeks for Geeks unless you're applying for an internship there. So and like there have been so many crappy articles that I've read. Like people just take some course and then just write whatever was being taught in that course as text articles and just publish it. So yeah, it's easy for your articles to get lost in there, in that like pile of articles. Like I don't know how many articles there are, but there must be thousands of them. Uh, in medium.com, there are these, I don't know what do you call them, sections or towards data science. One second.
Yep, and
Yeah,
talking
sorry.
about
Yeah, there are publications. Sorry. Like inside medium.com, there are publications. So like whenever you submit your article for those publications, so it gets quality checked and only then it's published. So like there is in like there is something called Towards Data Science. It's a publication like related to AI and ML and all. So whenever you write an article and you publish it on Towards Data Science, like it gets passed through a quality check and like only if it's good it'll get published. Like my own articles have been rejected many times.
And regarding the portfolios that you can put, like GitHub and resume are okay. Now, if you dive into Geeks for Geeks, I'm sorry, not Geeks, sorry. If you dive into Codeforces or CodeShare, you can link your like competitive account as well of Codeforces or CodeShare. And GitHub is like if you feel like developing more things and your GitHub profile is good, you can link that GitHub profile as well. And blogging site, as Prasanna said, you can have. And one more thing is there that you can have your own personal site, uh, introducing yourselves and like whole your profile portfolio. So you can have your portfolio as well linked if you have made it.
Yes, now an important part, resume. Should a first year or second year student be having a resume? So yes, I think like even a first year student who hasn't done like anything should be creating a resume. Now the point of resume is not just for applying at various firms, but it tells you like what all you are lacking and like how you should be working on. So okay, like I'll be showing an example now, and yeah, we'll understand it better then. Joshi, show my old resume first. No?
Yeah, sure. So this was the old one, I think so. Isn't it?
Yeah, this is my old resume, and I'll tell you what I was talking about. So here we can see I have some projects. I've written about my skills. Then there's education, and then there's awards. So like looking at the second tel key, I have plenty of projects, but what I'm lacking is the achievements or work experience. And yeah, the skills part too, like there isn't a lot I have written about, and my resume needs to be balanced. And yeah, I'm also missing work experience here. Like, so now as a second year student, like this was made in my third semester. So now I know ki I need to get some work experience. I don't need a lot of projects, but I need to have like more volunteer experience, and I need more achievements. And then this is my new resume. So here you can see like the number of projects hasn't changed a lot. I still didn't land any internship, so I have added two more projects to supplement for the lack of work experience. Then, but this time I have more volunteer experience, and the achievements also I have been able to write. So this is a better resume than before. So yeah, so like making a resume helped me like understand what I was lacking and in what direction I should be moving. So yeah, like looking at my current resume, I can say ki I lack some work experience. So that is what I should be trying for next. So yeah, I'll say ki like every single person should be making a resume, like no matter how empty it is. And yeah, it will help you. Okay, now Yoshi, these slides.
Yeah.
Okay. Acha nahi, wait, show your resume too, na?
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yeah. Just I think so. This was my old one.
Okay, so this is Rishabh's old resume. Now we will be conducting a resume roast session soon. So yeah, and like there will be that session would be dedicated just for how resume should be. But I'll just like critique this resume a bit, and then we'll see how he has changed it. So first thing we see is that there is a lot of empty space in this resume. Like his name he has written in like big caps and all, but there's like too much empty space in this resume, and it doesn't look very good. It's a bit cluttered. Now, cluttered isn't the problem, but yeah, then there's this achievement section. He has no work experience here. Uh, then let's see.
Now I'll just show you the new
Yeah,
resume.
now we'll see his new resume. And there was like too many colors in that. So yeah, don't get colorful resumes, please. Like plain and simple, black and white is good enough. Okay, now in this resume, we can see he has work experience added. Uh, like there is a standard font size, like it's uniform throughout the resume. It looks good. Um, the projects are there, achievements are there. Yeah, the rest is just standard stuff. He had worked on making a good resume. All right, so like to summarize this, a resume will help you like see what all you're lacking, and yeah, you can work towards achieving whatever is lacking. The third question, how do I understand what a good resume is? Y'all can go to YouTube and look up resume roast sessions. So there are like plenty of people who've done it. Just go through it and you will know what a bad resume is, and y'all can like just not do that. So next slide, Joshi. So this part, Rishabh will be telling you.
So what is open source? Now many of you would have, like, we have taken a session on GitHub, and I think so many of you have attended that session. So I'll just brief you about the open source stuff again. So it's just like collaborating online through your code in a tool called GitHub. Now, what is GitHub? GitHub is an online repository, or I would say a folder that contains all your codes, and we could collaborate easily online. And what is a GitHub repository? As I said, GitHub contains folder, and that folder is called a repository in GitHub. Now we can have multiple repositories that can be private as well as public. Uh, why should I be using open source code? Now this is important. Basically, open source is, I would say, it's like an NGO. Don't get me wrong here, but it's like an engine, or I would say it's like an open or free world where everyone can contribute in anything they want. And plus, the thing is, like we are attending this call on Zoom. This is not an open source; it's a proprietary. So now to motivate open source or to encourage open source, you need to write code in open source. You need to contribute to the open source community so that others can get encouraged, and you can have something for them as well. Those free softwares, like if you have seen my PDF viewer, has anyone noticed that PDF viewer is not Adobe or something like that? That PDF viewer is Foxit Reader. I don't know if anyone of you know, but Foxit Reader is an open source software, though it comes with a proprietary version as well, but it's an open source software. So using open source and contributing open source is a very good thing to do. It's something like you are contributing to an orphanage or something. So it's purely your choice, and people do it in their free time. But it's very good if you contribute to open source code. And how do I make my GitHub repository look good? README templates and writing comments. So this thing, I hope Prasanna would be able to share some of the good repositories that he has made, and some of the good templates, README templates that comes with GitHub. So there are some of the repositories that are only focusing on the README templates, how you should write your README and how you should structure your projects as well. So I think yeah, Prasanna would be able to tell more about it. So I'll be getting upon the next topic. Getting started with open source contributions. Now, the one of the major questions that was asked in forms was that how should I make my first contribution in open source? So, like your first contribution, I hope you have now like grasped all the things about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so on. and everything, like you are just familiar with the web development kind of thing. Even if you don't like web development, you can always pursue another field like Android development, ML. Everything and everything out there is open source. Okay, something or the other software you will be like seeing open source in the GitHub, and that would be on your technology or your tech stack that you know. So just you have to search like very specifically on GitHub using advanced search tools as well. So you just need to search what are the good first issues that have come up recently. So there's a tag. I have told this many times, like previously as well. Like there's a tag, good first issue. So what does this tag means? Like this tag means that this issue, that this particular bug or this particular feature is very new, and we can like beginners can work on this. So this particular tag says that. Now, good first issue is basically very you can find it out on advanced search settings, and you can search for good first issues and so on. Now, what kind of good first issues can be there? Now, these issues can range from a small README change, okay, or README structuring change, to making a website or to changing some internal code. Now, people seem to like get overwhelmed then when they see that, oh, this is a big repository, like 5,000 times of code, and I have to change this small like this issue, and I have to change the code inside this issue and so on, inside this repository. Now, the major thing to see is that people like everyone start off someday or some other day. You just need to focus on like reading the code a lot and just testing it out in your local system first, so that you know that what this code does and this code does. And many of the times you are just building on some of the functionalities, I would say some of the parts of the project, not the whole project. So it's not necessary to like understand whole code. It's just some of the part of the code that you need to understand. So this is actually a very big problem. Like people tend to get overwhelmed with that. Okay, and then yeah, it seems intimidating. So what do I do? You just stay calm, and no one is forcing you to do that issue in just 1 or 2 days. Okay. No one is forcing you to do that issue in 1 week itself. There are many projects or many issues that are working around, and you can contribute to the issue as and when you want. So as I said, people tend to contribute to their projects in their free time. Okay, open source is something that you do in your free time. That is your, just like your hobby. You're playing a guitar, you're doing open source, something like that. So you can contribute to open source anytime you want, and it's not something to be felt intimidating or something to be overwhelming. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. But see, now companies, for example, if you move to um, um, for example, I would say a JavaScript library, a company is building some of the website. Okay. Now, do you think that everyone in this COVID situation would be working from their office? No, right? So everyone would be in their home and contributing like online. And how does online contribution work? It's something like from GitHub and tools like that. So, so it's not necessary to have open source contribution first and then apply for like apply your skills at GitHub. So you just need to know the tools that are used for open source contribution, or you just need to like realize that what all things are necessary, like merging this stuff or cloning this repository. So you just need to get familiarize yourself with this to be like so that you do not lack in a certain like eligibility in a company, or you have to learn then. Okay, and it's not necessary for you to contribute open source anytime soon. You just need to like learn the GitHub and get stuff, but it's a good practice. And why you need to what are the benefits of contributing to open source. These programs like GSOC, Linux Mentorship Program, and that MLH Fellowship. So, so contributing to open source comes up with a beautiful. People are like communities are supporting open source from a very long time now, because you also know that this is not something that people will contribute, like people will promote. Why? Because many businesses are down because of open source, or many resources, or Amazon SA, I would say, that Elastic thing. They just captured from Amazon, just captured Elastic to them. Like it was an open source project, so it just captured that. So many beautiful proprietary projects are based on open source projects, I would say. Long time back, just few months back, I was just searching around that monitor thing that you guys also would know, that if we have two monitors and we have to move mouse from one monitor to the other, like other is Linux and this one is Windows, how could we do that? So there's an proprietary software and you have to pay something like 500 rupees per month or something like that for that, and which is based on a open source software. Now, what I did, I just downloaded that open source software, or I just downloaded that GitHub repository of open source software and then installed it. Okay, by executing that. So it's so good. Like that repository, someone made, and it was benefiting me and saving my 500. So like that's the beauty of open source. Yeah. Is it an alternative to internship? Um, Programs like GSOC, Linux Mentorship, and MLH are actually very good programs. So I would say sometimes like it's not a internship. They are just like supporting you in your payments. Like they're just paying you for to support, and it's not an internship that you will be contributing to. Like you have to do this work by this deadline or something like that. You set your own deadlines in GSOC and Linux Mentorship or MLH Fellowship. So it's free for all.
All right, so something I'll be adding to what Rishabh just said. Uh, okay, so like, does open source, like having open source contributions make you stand out? So yeah, I'll say yes, because most organizations like to maintain a certain standard of code in their repository. So like, even if you are committing your code, there would be some senior developer who will review your code and then maybe ask you to improve it, and then they'll merge it. So having open source contributions, like, it speaks volumes about your ability. Now again, it's not compulsory, but it's a good thing to have. And yeah, yeah, also, like, people should like, whenever you all are working on projects, it's fine to use open source code, like, as certain components of a project. Like, you don't have to do everything by yourself, and it doesn't mean like you are cheating, like, if you're using open source code, because like, understanding code as uh, is as difficult as like writing code itself. So yeah, we'll move on to the next slide, unless y'all are having questions. Rishabh, next slide, please. Yeah, so the age-old question is CGPA important? Uh, for jobs, I'll say ki, try to maintain a CGPA of at least 8.5. Now, most people would argue ki CGPA isn't even a requirement these days. So why? Because yeah, like, companies aren't exactly hiring you based on a CGPA, but I'll say ki it looks good than someone who's having a 6.0 CGPA. So like, try to maintain at least 8.5. On the other hand, people who are planning or even considering going for higher studies, you'll need to maintain at least 9 plus, and 9.5 is ideal, because when you all are applying abroad, like your university mark sheet is what is very important. At least you won't get away with a poor GPA. Like GPA is very important when you're applying for higher studies. So like people who are yeah, it does become a deciding factor. In fact, there are cutoffs too. Like unless I'm mistaken, you need to have at least a 9.5 out of 10 for a MS in data science at University of Toronto, I think. So yeah, like some universities have these GPA cutoffs too. Yeah, it's just to like filter out the candidates. But yeah, even if there is like a 1% chance you might go for higher studies, I'd say like uh, stay safe and don't let your CGPA go too low. Also, like we all know how easy it is to like get a good CGPA online. So yeah, for as long as semesters are lasting online, like try to get as good of a CGPA so that even when you all go back to college, it doesn't like it will get averaged out. Okay, next slide.
Yeah, I think,
Sorry. Good.
am I
Tell.
audible?
You.
Acha, okay. I think my mic got broken or something like that. I was just telling, like, just last point was that internship. Some companies prefer internship, and some prefer open source program. So open source program is purely like supported by Red Hat and um, uh, I think so. That was okay. Yeah, Red Hat and some other companies. So like GSOC companies, the companies organizations you see at GSOC mostly support open source programs, and they just tend to have their candidates from open source programs as well. So that is a fair point to be noted here. Yeah.
Uh, yes. So research. So I am not a successful researcher. Like I'm still trying to get into research, but so like whatever I say are observations that I've made. Uh, yeah. So like how do you approach research? So yes, like research can seem super intimidating. Uh, like you might not understand a single word that's written in a research paper. So like how do you go about it? So the first thing I'd say is like try to join reading groups. Like you all will have to look up which which reading groups are there for like which fields. So like for deep learning, like people interested in deep learning, there's an organization called Weights and Biases that conducts reading groups. So what happens in these reading groups is that there is some like there are people who like discuss a particular paper, and like when you all go through it, so it's easier to understand papers that way than when you all are like reading it all by yourself. So yeah, the next part is read the classic papers. So what do I mean by classic papers? So there are some papers that form the foundation of some field. Like there were some papers written in I don't know in the 90s uh, on back propagation and all, which ended up being the foundation for AI for deep learning. So yeah, you all should read the classic papers. Like you all can just look up what the classic papers are for whatever particular field you all are interested in, and then there is classes that are master's level. Okay, so like you all should like try to take uh, the courses or lecture series that are not just meant for beginners but for intermediates. So these uh, these classes like they tend to go in a like they tend to go in a depth that you won't be going unless you all were into research. So and yeah, like you all would understand more about a field when you all are taking some master level courses than when you're taking just some boot camp or anything. Share a link later on, like showing what a master level course looks like. Uh, then there is the intimidation factor. How to choose a lab or professor to work under. Okay, so yeah, so like first of all, obviously, like try looking for professors who have the no, not try. You all should be looking for professors who are working in the same domain as you. Uh, no professor would want to work outside of his domain. Then there's citation. So what does a citation mean? So like if I wrote a paper and that paper gets more citations, it means that more people are working on what I have already worked. So you can say citations are a measure of how influential that one paper was. So if a paper has like 10,000 citations, you can say 10,000 more papers were written based on that single paper. So yeah, if some professor is having a lot of citations, like his work is good, you can say that it's influential. And yeah, again, like all of these metrics are debatable, but it doesn't mean that someone with a good citation or good H index is a bad researcher or something like that. An H index is it's another metric, and like researchers with like greater than 10 H index are good, and like greater than 100 so is exceptional. Like there will be very few people with an H index greater than 100, but yeah, like people researchers with an H index greater than 10 is good. uh, Institute reputation, yeah, so you need, like, if you all are working in institutes that have a very good environment, it's good. What do I mean by environment? I mean dedicated labs, uh, like other people who are working in the same field. That is a good environment. So yeah, so I'll say like try to land internships in some IIT or NIT. Uh, like if you all are like choosing your home institute to work, that's fine. But if you all are planning to work in your home institute, like do it as soon as possible rather than like waiting for your third year or fourth year. Like you all can approach a professor anytime and just start working with him now, so that like having a paper written will even make it easier for you to land an internship somewhere else, like in some IIT. Uh, so yeah, there's that. Then what is cold emailing? So like most of these research internships in some in any institute, they won't be like putting out job postings the way normal internships do. You all will have to like individually mail each professor who you all are planning to work with, and like you all need to like tell ki, how his work appealed to you, how you all think you all can uh, extend to his work. Yeah, so you need to cold email basically. And what cold email means is that you need to send a lot of emails before you all can like actually expect a reply. So like most people have heard of, like they send they contact at least 50 to 100 professors, and then there's a very rare chance like at least two or three replied. And so that is one of the only ways you can land research internships. Besides the opportunities that I have, that Rishabh sent a link here for. So these contain some dedicated programs where you all can apply for. But other than that, if you all are planning on working somewhere, you need to like cold email the professor, and just hope he replies. Uh, what do they look for while choosing candidates? Okay, so the link that Rishabh has sent. So this contains some research programs that offer like hefty stipends and all. So what do they look for? So there are three things that they look for normally. One is the statement of purpose, which might contain a research proposal. If not, just a research proposal is needed. Now, what is a research proposal? So research, like you do it in a very in a niche topic. Like you can't. Okay, so you need to write down things like or ideas that you might be having, and yeah, like I don't. Okay, so I think we'll need to have a separate session to talk about how to write research proposals. But yeah, and statement of purpose is just why do you want that? Why do you want to do research? Um, that is, it's like an essay. Uh, you write it in like 1 or 2 pages. So you need to submit your statement of purpose or your research proposal. You need to share your resume, and you need to share your BTech transcript. So this is where I said like uh, having a good GPA is very important. Like even if you're considering research, higher studies important or no? from a career perspective, if you are planning on getting into like working in academia or getting into like applied research at firms, you definitely need to have a master's or a PhD. So like these like you don't get hired for research roles with just a bachelor's degree. So it's like 100% you need to have a master's degree. So yeah, people who are planning getting into research, you all need to like start looking for like where you will be doing your masters. And CGPA requirement. Yeah, like I said this earlier, I'll say it again. You need to have a good GPA for research and higher studies. Like no one will stop you from doing research, but yeah, like they prefer people with a good GPA.
And I
Rishabh
think,
next.
yep, I think you guys might know that uh, it's not like very officially to tell you about these things, but you might know that we can apply to IIIT Hyderabad in our second year, I think so. So
Yeah.
uh, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. We don't like, we cannot tell, but yeah, you can check that out as well. Yes, Prasanna.
Uh, Now about core ECE. Uh, yeah, all this talk has been about CS people. What about people who are interested in core ECE? Okay, so placement scenario after bachelor's is very dull. Like I looked at the stats from NIT Surathkal, IIT Patna, IIT Madras, and like even there, like these are old institutes with very established placement cells. Like very few companies come for on-campus placements. Uh, then even among those, like even among the people in those institutes, those who succeeded had very good GPAs and projects under professors, and they knew their fundamentals really well. Uh, like if I were to make a like a judgment, I'll say ki it seems like the core companies they need people, more people with masters, like the way it is with CS research roles or just any research roles. So yeah, I'll just say ki like have a plan. Most EC people they like get into tech consultancy or finance jobs. So like even if you are interested in pursuing core ECE, just like have a plan. Like when you are going to do a master's, where try to speak with some people who have succeeded, and then yeah, and yeah, if you're planning on like taking up CS, just do it as soon as possible. Don't wait for, I don't know, getting disheartened with. Yeah, finally, the imposter syndrome, stuff that no one talks about. So yeah, these are just two statements. Bro, my batchmate is so cool. They made a software that writes more software. And then that team has won a hackathon, but I have not even won a single one. So yeah, like I'll say ki you all should not be competing with your batchmates. Like as long as there is healthy competition, it's fine. But like try to like compete with yourself, because yeah, like even I was in first year at sometime, and I didn't have a CS background, and like my friends were practically like talking in code. So it was a bit intimidating, but then yeah, it ended up pretty well. Like now that I'm sitting in front of you as a technical mentor. So yeah, just try to be a better version of yourself. That's all. Like don't think you're useless or whatever. uh, so now we'll be taking up the questions. Acha, finishing remarks. Like Joshi, you have anything to add for the imposter syndrome thing?
Yeah, for the imposter syndrome, I would say hackathon thing, like people tend to mislead the hackathon to just winning stuff and something like that.
Yeah,
But
like we haven't won a single hackathon. Okay, like
but
Joshi and I, we
yeah,
have.
hackathon, in every hackathon you win something. Like you win a super cool project that you have made on your own. You have network people and you have won their networks. Like you have made some good, really good networks with people, and they would be very much helpful for you to in your whole like life, or for other referrals of the internship or companies like that. And like just more of a fun drive and a resume, and your resume would be outshined by your project that you have worked on, that I have made this project on like in 2 days or so, and I completed this and this thing. So yeah, so that was it. So never get disheartened by winning any hackathon, because in every hackathon you won.
Finishing remarks. Okay, about cybersecurity. Now, this isn't my area of expertise. So, like, whoever is having questions with cybersecurity, I'll suggest you all just DM me. I have been speaking with some people who are good in that, and yeah, this document has a few FAQs answered, so y'all can go through that. Then is web dev and AI all there is? So no, like CS is a very wonderful subject. It has many fields like we can't even count. There is a cybersecurity, blockchain, IoT, like it's countless. So I'll just say ki you all should be exploring it on your own. Like someone asked for a roadmap. So again, I'll say ki like there is no gold standard for like this course is the best one for this field. Like no such thing. Like try to do research by your own. Like try a couple of courses. Like because each person has a different style. Like there are some people who like to like consume all the theory first and then start with things, and then there are some people like me who like follow a code first approach. So like I'll like code a little, then I'll understand the theory, and I'll like repeat this over time. So yeah, so you need to like experiment enough to understand what works for you. And yeah, now we'll do the Q&A. We'll answer the questions that we haven't already in our session. So
Just 1 second. I'm just
what is the path for freelancing? Hmm. But I'm not qualified to answer that question.
like
I'll find out and let you know.
for freelancing, most of the time, like first of all, you might have some skills like web development or graphic design or logo making or writing stuff for someone, or it can be like freelancing can be of any time, anything from like file transferring freelancing is also there. So it varies. Okay, now whichever your field is, you just need to like search for like there's site called freelancer.com. So for 1 minute, once I'll share this. This is like a small link of our roadmap and courses, best courses out there. Hacker.io. It provides like it does not provide courses. It just suggests which is the best course or popular course out there. Yep. Um, yep. So first question was like, what is MLH? MLH is an organization. Abbreviation for Major League Hacking, which conducts hackathon for like over weekend, and like for every week there is a hackathon at the weekend, and some of the week long hackathons are also there. That we would say like a local hack day and share and build. So yeah, MLH is an organization which conducts hackathon. Now you can
You
always
tell
go.
them about the programs that MLH
Yes.
offers. Na?
Okay.
Excellent, Shukran.
Okay. Yep. So first of all, like, why not we just move to the MS side as well? So not only hackathons are there. So hackathons, first of all, there are two kinds of hackathons in MLH. One that is purely MLH based, that is conducted by MLH and organized by MLH at the weekend, and others which are based by some of the organizations, like Harvard's is planning some of the hackathon, or some or other colleges having a hackathon. So these were the hackathons that are organized by some of the other organizations, and they just post in the in MLH. Now for MLH there is also a fellowship program. um, I think so you can go there by typing just MLH fellowship. So what is fellowship program? This is something like your GSOC, but in a rather hackathon way. Okay. So here in fellowship program, first of all, you would be provided up with a small group of people. For example, say 5 to 6 people. Okay, that will be a group of people, and you will be allowed to work on a specific project. Um, for example, say JavaScript library used in Facebook or something like that. Okay, now that you can contribute, you all would be allowed to contribute on some of the specific issues in that, and then there would be hackathons in between. There are mid hackathons like between the programs and the final hackathon. So these happen in phases. Now, these programs are actually like when I applied, there were three parts of that program. Yeah, now also they have three parts only: open source, software engineering, and production. You can just read about them, what they do, and like there is also a pre-fellowship program, which is not a 3 months program. I think so. This is a 12 weeks program. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. So this is a pre-fellowship program that is prior to open source track, like below the open source track. So you can check that as well out. Like if you think you can be like you need some of the finishing touch in your open source skills and something like that, you can try the pre-fellowship program and then the open source program. So it's completely your choice, and it's definitely worth it to try it out once. And I see some chats there. Okay, Prasanna is it? Yeah. So this was whole what MLS does, and yeah, so hackathons and programs and some of the like events. Most of the events are sponsored by them with stickers and some of the stuff, goodies and so on. Yeah. So this was whole MLS stuff. Now moving to hackathons to participate as a beginner, any hackathon. Like most of the hackathons that you see here, like this selfie hacks that is organized on in this like this weekend, coming weekend, July 30th to 1st August. You can participate in this. Just click on this, log in and register here, and then register for the hackathon. And do join their Discord channel. So most of the hackathons here are organized in their Discord channel. Okay, so do join their Discord. See this MLS Discord server. So just join their Discord server. Just write MLS Discord, and you would be more happy to join the Discord community here. Discord.mls.in. Yep. GSOC details. I think GSOC details we could provide you. Like you could also see the GSOC website alone for GSOC details. There's not much of a tedious work for that. So in an overview, what GSOC is, there are a group of communities or organizations or projects that they have. Okay, like first of all, organizations apply to GSOC that we have these projects, and these projects have this task and this task, and you can we can have students involved and contributing in this project. So now you first organizations apply, there is a tenure for that. Then people like students apply to those organizations to contribute. Now you need to write a proposal first, and before that proposal you need to have a connection with like connection or bonding with that organization's mentors. So there will be some mentors assigned to the GSOC team, like GSOC, and you need to just connect with them, just get together with them and know them, tell them about your plan or your execution of the idea that you are thinking for the solution of this problem. So there will be some problems assigned or issues assigned to you, and you need to first document the idea around how you will be going around to solve that problem. Once you go have an idea, and once you discuss it with the mentors, then you are good to go to write a proposal. Now, most of the times, like proposal would be accepted only when you know the mentors very well. And yep, once the proposal is accepted, then you are good to go for a 3 months dive or yep, in GC. Yep. And then list of coding combination recognized and addable to CV that we can do as a first year. Um, I would say coding competition. See,
Okay, about that, I'll say ki, like whatever y'all are adding on your resume, like the one question that you need to ask is like, is that really an achievement? Was it competitive? So if it was, then just add it.
Yes.
Like, even if you like won your college hackathon,
Mhm.
like if you are like standing number one out of like 100 people, so like that is an achievement. So just see like whatever, like everything that you add on your resume, it has to be like competitive. It has to
Yes.
be like it should, your resume is basically a story like about you. So like, it should be adding value. If it's not, just remove it.
Yep. Regarding this, there can be like Kickstart or hash code or Facebook's competition or anything like that. You can add anything and everything from code forces competitions as well. The thing is that you should be some rank, like you should be out of the uh, batchmates rank or something like that. You achieve this position in this thing like that. You can say something like that. So you can add them. Like in
As
1000
long as
people.
you are
Yeah.
standing out, you can add it.
Yes. So how important are college certificates like the ones given to intra-college events? Uh, I would say like these certificates do not value much. Like you cannot show to a recruiter that I have won this thing, like this hackathon and this in our college. Um, so showing certificate is other thing. Just writing in your, because uh, no recruiter will see their certificates, even if it's a Google like Kickstart round and this thing. You don't. They will not see your certificates. Okay, so they will just believe like what did like from your work, and they will ask you or interview your questions. So uh, certificates do not matter as a fact, but your ranking in that particular competition matters. So like top 10 in 1000 or something like that. So numbers are important in resume.
Rishabh, there is a bit of disturbance in your mic,
Okay.
some noise.
Okay. Is it now audible?
Yeah, it's still there. Like you are audible, but there is noise.
Hello.
Uh,
Is it still
it's
there?
still there, but yeah, never mind. Just continue.
So roadmap to ML and stuff. Why not you take it,
Uh,
Prasanna?
yeah, so roadmap to ML, like the first things first, you need to have a good foundation in statistics, uh, and most people actually do because like you all have already studied university level statistics as a part of a JE. But if you think you are a bit rusty, you could like take MIT Open Courseware course on stats. Uh, yeah, then like the next thing you should do is take a course on machine learning. Now, like many people who like taking in theory first, they go with Andrew Ng's course. Like I'll just put the link. I'll just post a link here in a while. And yeah, once you're done with machine learning, you can move on to deep learning. Like take a course on deep learning. Again, Andrew Ng has a course on deep learning. And once that is done, you can like uh, just keep taking boot camps or courses like based on specific topics like computer vision or NLP or whatever. Yeah. So like one course won't teach you everything. You might have to like keep taking courses and like trying out different courses to like finally understand like each thing. But yeah, like just a single course won't teach you everything. So you'll have to like keep learning. And then for people who like the code first approach, there is a YouTube channel called sentdex. So it's good for yeah, machine learning and deep learning both. Yeah, this is Andrew Ng course. Andrew Ng's course. Thanks, Aditya. Next is useful first commits. Joshi, take this one.
Yeah. Useful first commits, as I have already told, that you can find out good first issues on GitHub search. Just that you need to like find out, like you need to first go there and find out something like good first issues and type there good first issues, and then they will that will come. So so the first thing is that you need to approach, and then like you once you find out, then the workaround will be first asking like first checking out that this issue is related to the tech stack, you know. If not, are you like will you be able to learn this tech stack in some few days? And if so, then just tell the mentor or someone who is in charge of that, or write the comment in that issue that please I would be willing to work on this issue, please assign it to me as it. Then then that will be assigned to you, and now you can work around on that issue and then submit a pull request. Yeah. Capture the flag, I think so. That Prasanna has sent a Google Doc for cybersecurity and things, and that will cover that capture the flag. Yeah. To be
All of the links that we've shared now, we'll be sending it again, so don't worry.
Yeah, sure. To be recognized in a resume, should our project need achievements in any kind of events, or any project that we can be included in a resume? So this is actually a nice question. So see, not every do not put every project on your resume. First of all, don't clutter it out a bit. Just put your best projects in that resume. And second of thing is that see a weather app or a to-do list will not make you stand out of the crowd. Projects like a small project that could be made that you have worked around, and that is pretty well okay, but that could be made in a little time is like recruiters tend to not pay much attention to those projects. So it's nice if you have some good projects in your resume that show recruiters that you have spent so much so and so time and you have made an impact from that resume. Okay. So like my resume affected these many people and helped these many people to this and this thing. Yeah. So that statement is very necessary for a good project. Also to mention in internship resume how big the project should be. For internship, like your first internship, if you are applying for ML and things, I would say Prasanna would answer. But if you are applying for software engineering role or SD or full stack roles, then I would say your first project should be a medium level project, not a very big project like a very vast project, not a very small project that could be made in a 1 or 2 days. It could be something like you have made something in a hackathon and you have worked around for a week on that project again, so to sharpen that project and make it a work. So that is the kind of project that we are expecting here. So it should be like I would not say judged by the week of work that is put into the project, but judged by the KKK
Sorry
factor that
to interrupt.
Prasanna has told.
It should,
Yep.
yeah, it should be representative of your abilities. Like that's
Yes.
all that matters.
Yes.
Like if like you won't be like the hiring manager would be going through your resume first. So like the resume represents you. So if you think some project can like show how well you can code, then it goes in the resume. That's all. What level is required for the final job? Yeah, like I said, like, it should be representative of your abilities. That's all that matters.
Can you give a general structure to what to put in a and what to not put in a resume? So I would say, Prasanna, you just share that overleaf link for that.
I have shared a template which
Okay.
y'all can follow.
Yeah. So that template is actually very good, and I don't think I think many of you might know Kunal Kushwaha. So have seen his video as well. So he prefers that resume because like it is well known in a community out there, and it distinguishes everything separately, like your experience and everything bold out and unique. So that's what is required from a resume. Just that distinct features should be there. Always follow this template, but it's necessary that you follow the I would say the topics that are there, like experiences there at there is, and the sequence that is there given there. Okay, and for sequence I would refer one more video. Okay, this one. So just refer to this video. It purely explains how a fresher's resume would be, and how a resume would be if you do not have any skills, and how a professional resume would be. So just refer to this video and you can like start with. Where do you approach for internship? As we said, AngelList and LinkedIn, we prefer those things. Not until now internship. So yep, you can go and check that out here. When do you think is an ideal time for internship? I would say your second year is fine, but it's not like that is not a bounded time. You can have it in your first year as well if you want. For CP, could you list out some topics beginners should learn after basics theory? And this is for Sarkazad. So I think Prasanna,
Acha, we'll send out a book called as the Competitive Programmer's Handbook.
I
So
have
it
sent
has
out
all
that.
the, Acha,
Yeah.
you have already, sir.
Yeah.
It has all the important topics that you should learn. And like, yeah, you can like take a topic, solve a few problems, and if you're comfortable, you can move on to the more advanced problems. Yeah, so you can holistically follow that book, the Competitive Programmer's Handbook. And yeah, we'll try to get Stark Wizard to conduct a session.
Yeah.
of
So
his own.
after the basics greedy bit manipulation, I would suggest you to focus on dynamic programming more. And then once that is clear, then move on to graphs or trees. First trees and graphs. Yeah. So how should one get into open source? Like what is the procedure, how to contribute and stuff? So first of all, you need to get familiarize yourself with tools like GitHub. When I say GitHub, you need to have an account first, and then you just search for some of the open source projects that have good first issue in them, and then read through what the issue requires you to solve. Like what is the stuff that is need to be resolved, and if it is the core internal stuff, you need to have a look at the code, specific code. Then you just try that project out in your local system and see if you can like get into that issue and resolve it. Okay, and if you think you can resolve it from the seeing it's like just checking that out itself, you just need to write to the comment there that please assign this issue to me. And that's it. How can one make use of open source to go to CSES? So yeah, for proposals that you write while applying to GSOC, if you write that I have contributed to this and this project, or this and this like organizations at this period, and I have I have merged my these many PRs are merged to that project. So if these statements are there, then recruit like those mentors will get more enthusiastic about you and your project, like open source skills. So that could be used for coming into like applying for GSA. And more importantly, it's like, okay, it's open source, so anyways it will help you code itself. Yeah. How can one handle open source and competitive programming code side by side? See, if you love both, it's fine. And it's uh, development and DSA, or development and competitive programming. Uh, so uh, it's basically you can manage both side by side. Just that you have to play with the timings. Whenever there is a competition, you cannot contribute, and when competition is over, then you can contribute to open source. So yep, you can always have both side by side. Which is best, JS or Python? Um,
Uh, Python is the most widely used in AI. I don't think people use JS in AI. Like they could, but I don't think they do. So Python is definitely the
okay.
standard.
And what about TensorFlow JS?
TensorFlow, PyTorch, like these are all frameworks. They aren't exactly languages. So they are based on Python. So yeah, I'll always say like try to get a good grasp of Python. Most of these frameworks they are like based on the principles that Python follows. So like once you understand Python well, you can like understand how to code in Python. Sorry, in TensorFlow or PyTorch or Keras.
So can you tell us what are the fields one can go into software, and what are the courses to concentrate for the respective fields? And please give us the roadmap, like what step by step and particular thing. So I would say I have given you that roadmap site. So it contains few roadmaps. Now, once like we would be having some of the mentors in each of these fields soon when we release our form. So once those mentors are assigned, they will be tasked to have a roadmap guide for you all. For now, I would say research a bit about those these fields like cybersecurity, blockchain, web development, app development, and machine learning art or automation. Like some want to go to testing stuff. Okay, so just check these fields out, and we would be having mentors for those specific roles, and they would be having a roadmap for them. Yeah, and I have already sent you a link of hacker.io, which provides all the courses for every field out there. And so that not only gives you all the fields that are there in software, but also gives you the courses that are popular. So just check that site out. It is very useful. uh, all about it, open source, where to start and contribute, we have discussed. Then where do we get projects? Okay, so project ideas, like projects, you cannot get projects, you get project ideas. So project ideas are like something that pops up in your mind while doing something. Like once you see Discord, or yeah, you are just surfing around Discord and you see that there is no thing named as there will be a the voice call or voice, I will not say voice call, it was a discussion call, I think so. Yeah, so people just tend to get into the discussion call, and you just get a notification and just like that. Okay, now you just think like it would be very good if we have a bot that will pronounce their names, that this person entered the voice call, and something like that happens. Okay, so you just think of that idea and it would be very good, like people would use it. It's okay. So if that particular idea came to your mind, then you can start working on that project around, and like just uh, work work on that project. Just see the tech stacks that are needed. Contact us, your seniors, or someone out there who is like who guesses, like who can give you an idea about what you have to do next for the project, and just start around with getting to know the like working on the project, getting to know the tech stack, just 1 or 2 hours, and then diving into the project and starting creating the files are required and so on. So it should be it should not be a like big thing to get uh, project started. It should be something like okay, now I have an idea, I'll just write that idea out, and what I need, what tech stack is needed. Okay, I know this, I know this, and this. Okay, I'll learn around when I do the project. Now you just start the project, and that thing came, and you just serve some YouTube videos, and then you just continue the project. So this is it. Do our college have finals, minors?
Everybody must be 18 at least now.
Minors मतलब courses.
Yes, acha, electives.
हाँ, electives.
We do have electives
Yeah.
in third year.
So, yeah, in third year. So that would be like you would have received one course material, I think, so course guideline or something like that from college. So that would contain your whole syllabus and so on, which could be taken by our website as well. So you just go to that, and there will be select electives as well, yeah, in the that. Okay. How should one approach to DLML from scratch? Is Python required? And if yes, how much is it required before I hop into ML? Prasanna, why don't you take this?
So I've answered how do I approach deep learning ML from scratch. First, do stats and probability. Like, make sure you're comfortable with that, and then take a ML course and a deep learning course. Once you're comfortable with machine learning, you can go on to deep learning. Is Python required? Yes, Python is being widely used in AI. And if yes, how much of it is required? So, like, I'll just say you need to be decently proficient. Like, if you like, it's fine if you look up the syntax, but yeah, as long as you are able to like code what you are thinking, yeah, it's fine. just be like decently proficient here. That's all. Uh, what is the right MOOC or course? So anti-NG is good. Like there is no right MOOC or course. Like it's just like how everyone won't have a favorite, like a single favorite teacher. Like everybody likes different teaching styles. So like I'll say experiment, and you'll find what is the best one for you. I'm interested in research after BTech. How should I approach it? So yeah, we answered this one. I'll just should I repeat it again, or is it not required?
No, I don't think so. It's required.
It's required. Okay. Is competitive coding required at all if I'm inclined towards a research-based field after undergraduate? Yeah, so this is from our first slide. So no, you don't need competitive coding, but you need to be decently good at DSA, at data structures and algorithms. So yeah, and that is because like some companies conduct coding rounds based on DSA. They won't test your ML. Like once you once you clear those rounds, like the future rounds would be based on ML. And startups don't usually have coding rounds. I think like they give you assignments or projects to complete. Yeah, I don't think startups have coding rounds, but yeah, like the big four or big five, like Amazon and all, will definitely have coding rounds. What should I do right now for DSL? So this you can answer. No?
Yeah. So A2OJ ladder, I would not suggest A2OJ for like of code forces specifically. Like more of a like if you see 200 to 300. So most of the questions A or B. Okay, if you see A or B, so most of the questions are repetitive in A2OJ, and like you would get nowhere. Like if you start solving from A, you would not get like so much powerful. I would suggest giving as much competitions as possible for code forces, making out small groups so that you can discuss all the like solve solutions of the problems once the round is over. And yeah, making out small groups and WhatsApp groups as well, and we would be having Discord. So then in Discord we would be having that channel as well. So practice from coding rounds is good, I would say, rather than practicing just from ATOG language for competitive language. And give context, how should I practice from fundamental DSI questions from GFG? See, fundamental GFG, like questions from GFG and lead code, you can have practice that. They are good, but most of the times, like you see a greedy question, okay, and there are all the questions that are of the greedy, and you would know that next coming up question, okay, now this would be a greedy question, and this would not like this would be solved like in a greedy method only. Or you would see a dynamic programming session, so you would just see, okay, this is dynamic programming, okay, this would not apply greedy, okay, I will not apply greedy because that would be a TLE for this case. I would just apply dynamic programming or search for some method. So you would know what to apply over there in GFG and lead code. Okay, rather than that, in coding competitions, if a question comes, you would not know whether to apply greedy or a dynamic programming. Once you have implemented and tested out, and that TLE pops up, then only you know that your method is incorrect. So that's basically the basic difference between CP and DSA. But rather than that, GFG and lead code questions are good for DSL practice. So if you want to furnish your fundamentals, you can go with the GFG question series or lead code. Uh, and also, I'm not able to perform good in CP like 2 to 3 stars. Is it all over? No, it's not over. If not, what all should I try except from just CP? Except from CP, you can try development. Like you can hop into, like you can see one of the web development, or you can just take a glimpse of everything: web development, and mobile development, or blockchain, and so on. You can just search around these things, check out few videos on YouTube, like how to approach these things and what all will be there, and try to participate in a hackathon and focus on building something out of these stuff. rather than just learning a language or learning a tech stack. Like you're just learning React and not implementing it. It would not be a very good, like very good habit, or you would not get over anything. So just try implementing some stuff, whether it's a smallest app from React, but just try over it. Yeah. Also, daily, how many hours should I give to problem solving for PSLO, and which and how many types of projects in making first year? For DSLGO daily, I would say like I have not practiced daily on DSLGO. It's like something you wish to do and you just do. Like for daily stuff, you can devote 1 to 2 hours for DSLGO at night when you have everything covered from uh, like from college and every assignments and those lab works completed. Okay, so when those are completed, okay, then you can contribute about 1 to 2 hours to DSLGO. Check out this new topic, see some videos, check out some questions, solve them, and that's completely okay. Then move on to next topic next year. So something like that you can do. Um, what tech software? Okay. Um, yep. Prasanna, would you like to take this?
Which robotics. That I don't know. Like we'll find out and get back to you. I'll answer the create complex. Yeah.
Yes. Like we would
And
this
from
this we would ask
which
from someone as well once. Then would like to respond to you, and we would be responding to you in from a DM. Okay, so yeah, just wait for our, like we are just searching around and stuff to find someone expertise in this area in robotics and stuff. So we would be approaching to you. Yeah, sure. How to start my project, any project, and which year is it good? From your first year as well, you can start anything out there. Okay, and how to start any project? Just
forgot to tell.
yeah, yes, Prasanna.
Yeah, something I forgot to say is that what do you do once your project is completed?
Your voice is not clear. It's breaking.
So two things. First of all, you should showcase your project. No one will type this in the chat.
Yep. Your voice is breaking, I think so. Yeah. Hmm. So how to start any project and from which year is it good? From first year, I said. And how to start project? Just think of an idea that could be solved in a community, and just write the points down there what you need to build and what tech stack would be used. And then if you know the tech stack, just some tech stack, you can start building upon that and learn while you go. Yeah. What are the basics of artificial intelligence and from where one can start? I think so Prasanna would be able to answer this. And cybersecurity, we have shared the document. How to start ML and what are the basics of artificial intelligence? If Prasanna, you could take.
Yeah, sure. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are now audible.
Yeah, so basics for artificial intelligence is the same as the basics for machine learning. Like there is a very slight difference between them, which I don't need to know now. And yeah, what are the basics for cybersecurity? We have shared a document uh, that will answer it. How to start ML? Yes, we've answered this earlier. Yeah, something I was saying earlier is what do you do after you're done with the project? So I say you should showcase this project. What do I mean by showcasing it? You could post about this project on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or some community such as Discord, like any Discord community. And what it does is it helps you network. And also, yeah, as you almost know, one of the students from 2K20 batch was able to land a research collaboration just from a community where he showcased his project. So yeah, like, it won't guarantee ki, like showcasing a project will land you some job or some internship, but yes, it helps in networking. Okay, how is C++
Yes.
going to help me in future as a software developer? I don't think C++ helps you in development, but it helps you in understanding the fundamentals and the principles of coding. So that's why it's important. How to start contributing to open source? We answered this. Are certifications important? Only if it's competitive, else no, it's not important. What is NEPTEL? NEPTEL is basically like recorded lectures from the various IITs. So, like, in order to get the certificates for those, you need to like appear for some exam or yeah, acha. C++ is used in high frequency trading firms like Tower Research, Goldman Sachs. Acha, this I wasn't aware of. Okay. Is a good LinkedIn profile important for procuring internships? Yeah, it might increase your chances. I'm not very sure about this.
See, whenever like people tend to see your resume more when you apply, but some startups usually there is no definite way of hiring. Okay. First of all, they would see your resume, and if they by chance click that LinkedIn button on your resume, then they will be transferred to your LinkedIn, and they will see your profile, LinkedIn profile. So sometimes in startups it will help, and would help in some organizations, and moreover it would help in networking. So why not? Yeah. And networking means referral, like some referrals would be easy like to get from networking, and that referrals means like more focus on job area or interview side. uh, is JS really important as a web developer? If not, then what is are its alternative? JS, I would say a minimal is important. Okay, not very much. So, like uh, for now, there is a JS. I would say uh, JS bubble. Okay, around. So Dino is releasing, or Node.js is like approved by many organizations and they are using it, or React is like doing some stuff. New update is coming up, and something or other like this. These things are promoting JS and a lot, and it's like worth a promotion for it. But I would say if you are not interested in JS or stuff like that, you can approach to Python development, web development using Django or Flask. You can approach to Go as a language for server-side rendering or anything like that. You can approach to Rust as a language for developing your backend. Okay, so moreover, your language choosing does not matter. See, uh, language developers are not there. See, like JS developers are there, but more probably they are software engineers, which appears to have mastered in JS. Okay, and what software engineers do? They do everything from mobile development to Android, like to machine learning to everything. Like they contribute everything in a project, and they will be assigned some task. Either they have to learn that task, or they have to like implement that task directly. So uh, software engineering role or software development role, I would say they are like uh, specifications are there, of course, but most probably like which is widely known as that software developers or software engineer roles are mostly everything out there you can apply to that. Okay, from machine learning to web development, everything. Yeah, so JS is definitely not very important to be a web developer, but you should know at least something from JS, because front end, most of the front end part like HTML, CSS is there, but JS is very well known for front end. So yeah, front end, JS is definitely much worth. Yeah. So I think so. We answered all of your questions. Okay. One question we missed out, and that we would be replying in DM for sure. Uh, so yeah. So that was it from us, guys. And if you have any questions right now, you can unmute and ask. Okay. There seems to be, I think so. Hmm. No one is
I
unmuted.
don't think there are any doubts.
Okay.
Like if you all have, you could
Huh.
either mail it to TCA or just
Technical club.
actually WhatsApp it to Rishabh uh,
Yep.
or me. Like I don't know full stack. You could ask me things about the AI side. Yeah, anything else will be there, uh,
So yeah,
or
so
we
you
could like
can,
start the session.
yeah, just like email to technical club website or just DM to us both. We would be happy to help. Could be outside your our topic as well. Like we would be searching around that. Then we'll let you know about that. So yeah, thanks again for joining, guys. Yep, that's it from our side.